Wednesday, live, authentic week with Bray. Amazing. Hope everyone is doing great today. Have an incredible week. It's beautiful out. It's a little crisp. You can even get away with wearing a sweater, which is my favorite for sure. But I'm logging on today to have a conversation and share about how I used to live my life. How did I finally change? And really, what was my breaking point? So I've really just started creating myself online in the fitness world since about January, and really wanting to get into fitness and stuff the last year, and transitioned 3 years ago. So who I was 5 to 10 years ago, and like I said, how I lived my life, and now how I've gotten to where I am, and really what was my breaking point for me to be like, F this, I'm changing, I'm making moves. So I was a person who, I was in construction for 7.5 years. I did renovations, and then I was a part of the carpentry. Hey buddy. I was a part of the carpentry union and everything like that. So, but the way I lived my life as Michelle was, well, I was obviously a lesbian, and I hung out with the LGBT community and really had a lot of, I'd say, acquaintances, not really people that I would say friends, because to be honest, half the time it really wasn't the lifestyle I wanted to live, but I didn't really know how to get out of it. I didn't really see better for myself. I didn't know how to achieve better, do better, think I could have better, all of those things. So I was constantly stuck in a realm of just dealing with what I had around me and trying to just enjoy it the best I can. But I was a person who, like I said, so I did construction, and I worked my ass off. I worked 2 jobs at one time. One time I was doing security from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Then I was working construction from 9 to 6. Security 3 days on, 2 off. I wasn't sleeping for multiple days. That's just the kind of person I am. I've always been an extremely hard worker, always out to create something for my life. But also, when I was caught up living this lifestyle of going out and partying, drinking on weekends, going to bars, going to parties, driving all over the place all the time to hang out with different people, that's just the kind of lifestyle I lived. I didn't really stick to quality. I was aiming for more quantity. And since I was actually unhappy with who I really was, I would mask that with just not giving a shit and going out and just having a good time, really just caring about myself, to be honest, like for the most part, because that seemed the easiest for me. And that's good, buddy. I'm glad. Hard work is important. So how I used to live my life was just that. I didn't really have too many goals. I wanted to get into fitness, but at the same time I was trapped in a body that I wasn't in love with. So to me, I didn't take fitness that seriously because I didn't think I could achieve the body I wanted. And then when it came to nutrition and stuff like that, I'd cook and whatever all the time, but I just really had no structure. I was all about just working, making money, being able to do what I wanted, when I wanted, didn't matter what that looked like. And that's how I lived my life. I would always buy tickets to things for 2 people and just invite someone last minute. Again, it was really a lot of focus around myself, what I wanted to do, who I wanted to hang out with, what party I wanted to go to, what bar I wanted to go to, what girl I wanted. That's how I lived my life. And so, I'd party and call in sick to work because I just felt like, that's okay, I'll just get another job. I really didn't take things seriously. I really didn't. Now, in the sense of who I was as my actual personality, I'm still the same person, still caring, compassion and stuff, but I was a little afraid to show that back then because people had such a stigma around me and like who I was, and they thought they knew me and blah 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 because of how I would act or the situations I'd get in or be put in or I wound up in, whatever it was. It was just so like I wasn't really coming across as like this caring, nice, dependent person, only to certain people that I allowed get close to me in my life. And so for the rest of the people, didn't really have all of the positive things to say about me because, again, as I mentioned, I was living my life however the hell I wanted. I didn't care what was happening to other people, just to myself. And great question, Rudy, because that's what I'm going to get to, is really what was my breaking point and how I really decided to change is that, so I'm 32 now. I turned 33. I didn't start drinking until I was 23 years old. I didn't see the point of it. I didn't see the value. I knew that it just didn't really add much to my life. And I started drinking when I was 23, when I started hanging out with a different group of people. It seemed like, and it's interesting because when I think back to it now, I was seeing other people having fun by drinking and doing this. And to me and myself, I needed more at that time in my life. I needed to have more fun, and I wasn't getting the typical behavior that I like doing, like being outdoorsy and going camping and all of this stuff. And it seemed like alcohol was everywhere, so I started drinking. And I found out that drinking didn't really resonate with me that much, especially when you're kind of hanging out and doing your own thing. It didn't really matter. So at points I was quite destructive, and then I'd have to deal with that person in the morning, and sober me would have to deal with drunk me the night before. And I just continued to be in that vicious cycle of like working hard during the week, wanting to do something different on the weekend, but not hanging out with the group of people that actually wanted to do something different. So then I'd be stuck partying again. And it just is what it is. It's no blame on anyone else but myself. I didn't know that, what I would have needed to do back then is to really step back and take myself completely out of the situation. And to me, I didn't want to do that because, then I wouldn't have any friends and I wouldn't have any this. And so I just continued to stay in that for about 7 years. But I spent a solid chunk of my life getting in trouble, doing bad things, or getting in fights, or getting kicked out of places, or creating fights. Or my biggest thing was sticking up for my friends who were in situations, but that's no way to live your life either, because if you're sticking up for other people, you're getting in trouble. And almost all of the times I've gotten into trouble was because of someone else. And I'm not paying for it anymore, but I did in the moments. I've had massive breakdowns. I've had to go to court so many times. I've had to plead my case so many times. I've had to do, anger management and I'm sharing this because it's important for me to share that we can be in so many situations in our life and still be able to choose and do better. I wasn't that person. For me to think back and think about all those times I acted a certain way and everything like that, it's so out of my actual character of who I want to be and who I enjoy to be and what's really important to me at my core, that it blows my mind that I've experienced so many stories. But I have. And again, it was really all because alcohol, and it was because, I didn't have any personal goals really, because I was raised to get a job, make money, provide for your family, and then what you can do with your money and stuff like that is then you can go and enjoy your life. So that's what it was for me. I worked, made the money, had the money, and then, plan things to go and enjoy my time, not really realizing how important it is to have a goal after that, or to have something that you're reaching towards. And if we're just consistently living our life on a day-to-day basis of what's going to happen today, then we're going to still be in that a year from now. And for me, I used to write on Tumblr all the time. I was always writing poems and stuff like that. I can look back. I actually hate looking back because I look back and I can consistently see that I'm dealing with the same stuff for a couple years in a row. I would get to a breaking point where I wanted to change. I didn't like what was going on. Something bad was happening. And then I would tell people in my life, feel like I had the support system, didn't actually have the support system, and then I'd swirl right back down into a situation I was in. And then I'd be out partying again, and this and this and this. And then something would happen, and it'd be a massive breakdown. I'd spiral back down. And then, I just wasn't surrounded by the right people. And in majority of my relationships I had, since people had such a stigma of me and who I was and how I showed up, it was hard for me to believe that I knew I wasn't those things when so many people are telling you that. And that's where a massive shift comes in with self-limiting beliefs, and we start to feel as if we're words that people use to describe us. And that's crazy, because all along I felt like I was fighting with people, being like, I'm not that way, but I am, because I have been doing X, Y, and Z. I have been showing up that way, and I haven't taken the proper steps for me to correct and fix that about me and change it. That's why I'm so massively into self-development right now. I'm actually just over 7 months sober. I stopped drinking alcohol, and it's been incredible for me. I'm in control. And that's why I consistently show up on these feeds and really wanted to drill into people's heads that you don't have to continue living the life you are right now. It can change. That's why I got into life coaching. That's why I got into fitness. That's why I want to work with people, so I can help you achieve things that you didn't think were achievable. Because really what we have to do is be a dreamer. Because without being a dreamer and without having a visualization of something that we want, we can never have it. And so 4 years, man, good for you. That's fucking awesome. So to me, I guess, what was my breaking point in my life for me to finally say, screw this? Well, it was a couple years ago when I changed and I improved and I started getting better friends and I moved back to where I live now and everything like that. But then the ultimate other breaking point for me was at the beginning of this year. I was in a horrible relationship last year with someone who I thought was on the exact same page as me, until we moved in and things shifted completely. I had no idea who I was dating. I was in a very abusive relationship, physically, mentally, emotionally. It was really horrible. And I continued to stay in that because I was fearful of, if I wasn't, what could have happened. And so I would live a couple of my months and I'd be like, I'm strong, I can do this. But I would start to break down daily. I would bawl my eyes out. I would be like, I can't do this anymore. This isn't for me. This isn't my life. Like, at times I'm acting like a person I don't like. And it was really just like, I can't do this anymore because I am breaking so bad that it just is not workable for me. And I've wanted to get into fitness. I've wanted to get into online training. I wanted to get into life coaching and stuff like that. And to me, I started to feel like, can I really do this? I'm a hypocrite because I'm encouraging people to do certain things with their life, yet I'm coming home and I'm staying in this relationship, which is so toxic for me. And so finally got the courage to just be like, this isn't happening. I got to move out. And it got ended. And for me to just reflect on the last year of my life, all of the things that I went through, all of the things that I stayed in, all of the situations that just seemed like it was an absolute nightmare and no one was waking me up, understanding that every morning when I woke up, I chose to stay. I chose those situations. I didn't choose to be treated a certain way, but I wasn't valuing myself enough for me to get up and leave, and I was still concentrated on how that other person is going to take it. So that was my massive breaking point, was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of wanting something and not getting it. I'm tired of not taking myself seriously. I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over and over and just feeling sick about it. So I spent the last couple of months really working on myself even more. I've done so much personal growth and development stuff over the last 3 years. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly listening to podcasts. I'm reading books. I'm getting up in the morning and I'm feeling my energy. I'm creating a structure. I'm following it. And you'll be surprised how more serious you can take yourself if you write down one small, simple thing that you want to start doing that you think will help increase the value of your life or you, and stick to it. Because when you stick to a plan, you take yourself more seriously and you can see that you're actually starting to do something that provides value for yourself and your life, and you start to feel the shift. So then imagine how powerful the shift can be the more action you start taking. Thanks, Rudy. And like, I'm a completely different person, I feel, as if I was from last Wednesday to this Wednesday. And why? Because I was in this program that wasn't aligned with me. And I felt like I needed to be in this program in order for me to succeed higher, when really the program was blocking me from my own natural beaming light. I felt like I was at a day job, like doing certain things and watching modules and stuff like that. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's driving me nuts. And suffocating me. So just from last week to this week, things have changed. My energy's changed. I'm really stepping into the role of the person that I'm trying to be in my reality. And that's what we must do. Is that if you want to be and act a certain way, you got to step into that role as if, you already are that person, and you got to remind yourself that that's how you want to start being, and take action. And if you're spending your day getting caught up, then stop for a second, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, how am I feeling? And really get in touch and try and pinpoint emotions or feelings that are going through your mind, and then asking yourself, do I want to be feeling this? Is it really serving me? And if not, how can I recreate myself in this moment as this person? Because we have it's like a ridiculous amount of thoughts. I don't want to say like 9,000, but honestly, it's like a ridiculous amount of thoughts, and 90 a day. And 90% of those thoughts, this really bothered me. 90% of those thoughts are thoughts you were already thinking yesterday. So that's what happens, is that we continue to bring in thoughts from yesterday to today, to tomorrow, to tomorrow, to tomorrow. So we're constantly thinking the exact same thoughts. So do you think that you can change at all in your life? Or do you think that you're going to wake up tomorrow and this new thing's going to happen? Or you're like, I'm going to feel confident tomorrow. Do you think that all of a sudden you're just going to start feeling and thinking different things without doing the work? No, you're not. Because our brain is programmed and pre-programmed to continue thinking everything that we subconsciously think all the time. So that's why if you're bringing yesterday's thoughts in today, you're bringing them into tomorrow, which if you want to look at it as you're bringing the past into the present, which means you can't change or improve your present if you're consistently thinking about the same things day in, day out. And that's where you reach the breaking point of screw this. I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of avoiding looking at myself in the mirror. I'm tired of feeling like my friends use me. I'm tired of feeling overweight or unattractive or unappreciated. I'm tired of feeling like I'm not being heard. All of these things, I'm telling you that if you're not choosing to change them, you're choosing them because you're enabling them. Because we often think we got to put up with this shit, and we don't. Because we really got to value ourselves and truly believe that we can have, be, and do better. If you want to think back to when you were younger, or think back to a phase in your life where you felt really good. Things were going awesome. You were looking at yourself. You were thinking, all right, let's do this. And then think about how you were being in that moment, and why do you think that's so different than right now? It was because in that moment, you believed what you were doing was good. You believed you were happy. You believed what you had was enough. It isn't until we start to convince ourselves otherwise that our confidence starts to decrease again. Now, I want to read this actual quote from this book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. And it's a really powerful quote. And it's like, imagine our life as if it's an inner tube of a tire. Now, we all know what that is, right? So when it is fully inflated, it can easily take you to your destination. But if there are leaks in it, the tube eventually deflates and your journey comes to an abrupt end. This is also how the mind works. Worrying causes precious mental energy and potential to leak. All of your creativity, optimism, and motivation have been drained. It's just like leaking in the air tire. You know, people need a bit of support, knowing it is okay. It is absolutely okay to change. We should be changing. Change is encouraged. And so if we can just take a minute and look at ourselves as if it's a tire. And understand, this noise is really bothering me. Okay, understand that we always have these thoughts and we know that. But having these thoughts don't actually serve you at all. No, like you can only think a positive and you can't think a positive and a negative at the same time. So if you're thinking a negative, there's no way you're going to see the positive in it. And if you're thinking a positive, then you're not even thinking about the negative because you're so happy. So relating to our life as if it's an inflatable tube. Understanding that if we're allowing a negative thought to come in or a self-doubt, it's kind of like poking the tube with a little needle. Each time we allow those thoughts to not only continue, but to stay and be present and like really sit with us, the less air we have in our tire, which means we're eventually just going to come to a complete stop. Hello from San Diego. And so, and then to remember that in any given moment, we can choose and recreate ourselves. So if you're thinking a negative, catch yourself. Do you actually want to be thinking that negative? Do you like thinking or feeling that way about yourself or about a different person? And is it actually providing you any value? Because it's not providing you any value. It's actually hurting you more. And it's most likely hurting the people around you as well, because they got to listen to it. So when you're thinking a negative today, try and turn it into a positive. Maybe, like if you're thinking, oh, I don't know, life sucks. Why don't you look at your life and acknowledge yourself for how far you've come and give yourself a high five? If you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're thinking, oh, what the hell or whatever, why don't you look at yourself and think, you know what, I have a beautiful smile, I have nice eyes. Show appreciation to yourself. Thank your hands, thank your feet for getting you everywhere you've been in your whole life, and to understand that what am I trying to say? You have, successfully gotten through all of the days up until today. The bad, the good, the whatever. And then consider creating yourself today as maybe someone or a person you want to be. So if you're a person who's not confident, say, I am confident. I love myself. And now it's going to seem weird because you're not used to talking to yourself like that. But how do you think you got so used to thinking the negative? Repetition, over and over and over and over. So no matter how old you are, that thought has been in repetition your whole life. So of course, you saying, I'm awesome, I'm attractive, I'm funny, I'm whatever, your mind's thinking, we're not used to this. So what's going to happen is you have to be consistent on these new thoughts and this new way of being. Because in our brain right here is two neurological, almost as if you were to put your hand on one of those electricity balls and the things come like that. So right here, it's a very, very strong one. And over here, it's very weak. And this one right here is filled with everything we've been taught our whole life. all the words we've been called, all the way we see ourselves, everything we've seen in society, all the negative, all the hate, all the blah, 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 right here. So it's strong. This one over here is trying to be built. You can start creating this one over here by talking to yourself differently, by saying I'm awesome, by looking at yourself and crediting yourself for what you have, patting yourself on the damn back because you're doing it, you're doing life, you're alive, you're taking care of yourself, and you need to give yourself credit. So if we can continue to, every single time we think a negative, shift it. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I like this. Oh, I have to go to work. I get to go to work. You know what I mean? It's like all of these things. And at first we're going to feel like we're fake and we're going to think, I don't know, I'm a loser. Look at me, blah, 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 blah. No, we're awesome. And we're finally just freaking grabbing the rein and taking control of our life instead of letting other people control it. Like, I'm riding my own damn carriage over here. I don't know about you, but do you want someone else controlling your life, or do you want to take action? Do you want to finally say, fuck this, I'm doing something different. I've wanted this for years. I've wanted to go here for years. My relationship, if I'm being honest with myself, it's not working for me. I'm massively wanting that to get to a lot of people because I know that a lot of people's relationships are just not working. And they think, well, I love them, or, you know, they're nicer than my last person I was with. Have higher standards for yourself because you're enabling that behavior. And we always do that. We do that with friendships. We do that with jobs. We do that with everything. At the beginning phase of something, we are enjoying it for what it is. We're not wanting to like search for more or expect more or want more until a couple months down the road we really realize that we actually in fact need more. And by that point, the job, the person, the this has already been acting a certain way for so long. That truly is who they are. And unless they don't like the person who they are, they're not going to want to change. You're not going to get what you need out of that relationship, and you're just going to continue down that same thing. So I'm asking you today, just like the breaking point I had in my life, I was tired of wanting something and not getting it. So are you tired of talking about the same damn thing over and over and over, maybe in a different form, and not actually doing anything about it? Are you tired of looking back in your life and thinking, if I would have done this differently, it would have happened. If we didn't meet, I wouldn't be like this. If I would have said no here, blah, blah, blah. We don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to look back at our life and wonder what if. We can actually say, screw this. Right now, I've reached my breaking point. I want something different. I can have something different, and I'm gonna do something about it, no matter what that looks like. Start something small, because we don't have to live a life where we're complaining. We don't, because we can change it. Yeah, if you want to complain about the weather, well, still, you can't change that anyway. So this is my advice. Don't complain about something you can't change, and the things you can change, don't complain about. Instead, write them down and start figuring out small action that you can take to start changing it and implementing change. And I promise you will start to see a massive shift in yourself because you're going to start taking yourself seriously. Less than 10% of people read past the first chapter of a book. Why? Because they think to themselves, oh, I want to do something. This is going to be great. I'm going to start this. Then they read one chapter and they forget about it. People don't take themselves seriously. So do you want to take yourself seriously? Or do you want to just be that friend that's talking about the same thing all the time? Just because when we complain, we can relate to more people. If I went out there and I was saying how amazing my life is and how amazing I'm doing, a lot of people aren't really going to relate to me. They're probably going to think that I'm annoying. Why? Because I used to be annoyed by people who did that years ago. But it's because people connect with complaints. Oh, I hate my job. Me too. I don't make enough money. Me either. I'm overweight. Me too. It's like, change the dialogue. Change the conversation, change the way you look at yourself, pat yourself on the damn back because you are doing it, But now let's start doing more. And keep in mind that thought process of that 90% of our thoughts, number one, are negative. So if we're dealing with a 10% ratio versus 90%, no wonder majority of the world is unhappy. We're fighting against, we're resisting against it, That's another thing when it comes to resisting something. When I'm resisting, I'm pushing my hands together, there's no movement, right? But if I stop resisting, I can move my arms. Hey, Tara. So, I want to say thanks to everyone tuning in. And just a recap on what this live share was about was, how I used to live my life. As I said, carelessly, unstructured, drinking all the time, not happy, not fulfilled, and dealing with people who didn't actually align with me. How did I finally change? Being consistently in a situation that didn't make me happy, made me upset more than anything, me wanting more from my life and being tired of being seen as this person I wasn't proud of. And what was my breaking point? A recap is that I was just tired of wanting something, not getting it, not doing anything about it, and most importantly, wanting to complain, but knowing that I can't complain because I'm not doing anything about it. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in today. I got 2 more authentic shares this week. I will be coming in at noon. And then every day moving forward, I'm going to be touching base on other topics. So if there's something you would love for me to talk about, comment, DM me, hit the like button, share, do everything you possibly can to get more people seeing this energy and to truly understand that if you want something different, please stop focusing on the experiences you've had in the past. Please stop worrying about the future. Sit down with yourself today, write it down, get clear, and be honest with yourself. Are you really that happy? And if not, what are you prepared to do about it? All right. And to finish it off, I think that's my new move. I hope you have a powerful day. Tune back in tomorrow. I love you, I appreciate you, and I believe in you more than yourself. So reach out if you need anything. Bye.